This is the Beoplay HX, a brand new headphone from Bang and Olufsen that costs almost as much as the AirPods Max. Now at this price point, I expect not a lot of things to complain about, but that is not the case here. Let me explain, but first, let's do the unboxing. As you can see that the Beoplay HX comes in this hardshell carry case which is considerably heavy at 360 grams and bigger than the Sony XM4 or the Bose NC700. And because of this size, it takes up a lot of space in your backpack. Maybe it's not as bad as the Sennheiser Momentum 3's carrying case, but still it is pretty bad. So the reason the case is so big is down to the non-foldable design of the Beoplay HX, which is similar to the AirPods Max. And looks wise, this Beoplay HX looks very much like a Bang & Olufsen product. It looks and feels premium all the way. The top of the headband is covered in a real leather, while the inside has a breathable fabric material with a softer center so that it feels more comfortable. The headband expands very smoothly to fit your head, revealing its aluminum skeleton. The top of the ear cups are also made of the same aluminum material, whereas the sides are of plastic build, but the whole headphone feels quite premium overall. The ear cups rotate as much as it should so that it fits any head. But because of their circular shape, it does not encapsulate my whole ear completely, which I kind of found annoying at first because you can actually feel the clamping force of the Beoplay HX pressing down on your ears, which is something I never faced on the AirPods Max for example because they have bigger ear cups. But I got used to it very quickly and it did not bother me too much after a while because the headphones are very light. It weighs only just 285 grams, so wearing it for a long period of time or taking them out for a run or jog feels very comfortable. Plus the lambskin memory foam cushion feels really good against the skin. But like any other ear cups with this sort of material, this will get a little bit warm around the ears during the summer season. The Beoplay HX connects via Bluetooth 5.1, which means it is able to connect faster and that connection is more reliable as well. Then it also supports low latency codec like aptX, so if you have a device that can take advantage of this, then you can enjoy some high-res audio. It also has certifications from Apple and Google for pairing, which is good, but the best thing is that it lets you connect via a 3.5mm headphone jack. This is actually very useful, especially when the battery is dead, as you can still get audio out of them. And speaking of battery, the Beoplay HX has an amazing battery life of 35 hours with ANC on, which is the best among the leading brands like Sony XM4 or the Bose NC700. And it does take almost 3 hours to charge from 0 to 100 via the USB-C cable, which is a bit longer but it is understandable given the bigger size of the battery. I personally like the very clean looking layout of this app. I think this has a much cleaner UX UI layout than some of the other companies' companion apps I have used thus far. Here you can check the battery status, control the music on your phone or change the equalizer setting. And it works in a unique way though. There is a ball in the center that can be dragged around in any direction to lower treble or increase bass. You can also adjust the level of adaptive noise cancellation or transparency mode in here, and there are other things like the headphones can be automatically turned off after 15 minutes of inactivity, or you can look for firmware updates as well. In terms of sound quality, I don't think they are exceptional in any way. Alright, let me explain. First thing is that the Beoplay HX does not focus on bass. It emphasizes more on vocals, then trebles, and then bass. I don't mind that very much because this is very much like the Bose NC700's default settings, which is one of my go-to headphones. But Bose has done a firmware update recently and now the NC700 supports a customizable equalizer that lets you crank up the bass a little bit. The Beoplay HX also has a custom equalizer that I showed you earlier. But the problem is when I change the equalizer setting to focus on the bass and put the volume in high, the sound cracks. I thought this would solve the low bass issue, but it does not. The sound keeps cracking continuously, which makes it impossible to keep listening at these settings. The only setting that seems to work well is the optimal settings, which is actually the default settings of the headphones. My question is, if the drivers cannot handle the bass, then why give the option to crank it up so high so that it cracks? But I am even more surprised to see that this issue did not get picked up during testing. This kind of performance is disappointing from a headphone that costs this much money. I don't know if it is just my unit because I saw no other reviewer picking it up, which was a little bit strange to be honest. But I highly recommend to anyone considering to buying these headphones, please have a listen for yourself. Otherwise, there could be some regrets. Also, the soundstage is very narrow when the noise cancellation is on. But as soon as I turn off the ANC, the soundstage widens a little bit. The difference is quite clear here. This was also another fact that I did not like about these headphones. And even with the wider soundstage, the bass is still quite poor. The only thing that is most prominent is the treble and voice, which is good if you're listening to acoustic music, but for any music that got released recently, I don't think the experience would be really good. There are some physical controls and as well as some touch controls in the headphones. The physical controls are very responsive, no issues there, but the touch controls, which are only available on the right ear cups, have some issues. I mean, the tap to play or pause or swipe to change tracks works fine, but the volume controls are a hit and a miss. I found them to be quite tricky because you have to swipe either anti-clockwise or clockwise for volume down or up. For me, it sometimes works, sometimes it does not. So overall experience is okay, to be honest. I personally prefer the NC700 swipe up or down to increase or decrease volume because it is easier to do and much more responsive. But even better is the dial on the AirPods Max. So overall, again, I think the experience is average at best. In terms of feature, there is nothing really to write home about. Good thing is, like most other headphones like the Momentum 3 or the Sony XM4, the Beoplay HX can also support connectivity between two active devices simultaneously. So you can switch between watching movies on your laptop or tablet to taking a call on your phone very easily. The Beoplay HX is able to cancel noise effectively in a noisy environment, which is good. It is very much on par with Momentum 3s for sure, but I would say that the Bose NC700 and the Sony XM4s are a little bit better than the Beoplay HX in cancelling out sound that are on the higher frequency range. But the static or the low hiss that you hear when ANC is on is a little bit lower than the Sony, which is great, but this is one area Apple AirPods Max does a better job. The hiss here is almost non-existent, and the transparency mode works well too. You can change the level of it on the app. So yeah, overall I would say that the Beoplay HX does an average job here as well. There are 4 mics in total on the Beoplay HX that helps to capture the voice when you are speaking, and in my tests out and about, I found that they do a good job on focusing on the voice. They can separate the background noise and really isolate the speaker's voice, so I have no complaints here. Just take a listen for yourself. Testing the microphone of the Beoplay HX. Mic check, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Mic check, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So in conclusion, I would say that the Beoplay HX looks as well as it costs. The battery life is industry leading, voice quality over calls is good, and it has a plethora of options in terms of connectivity. I personally also like the app because of its UX UI layout, and the comfort level on these headphones are also something that I have come to appreciate after getting used to it. But on the other hand, the sound quality really let me down on the Beoplay HX. I really don't understand how some reviewers are saying that these are a good alternative to the AirPods Max, because it really is not, at least not in terms of sound quality or in the noise cancellation department. I am very sure that you will enjoy the AirPods Max's sound quality much more over the Beoplay HX. The crackling of the sound when the bass and the volume are at a high level is something that is really unacceptable at this level. As I said before, please try these out yourself first so that you have a better understanding of what you are buying into. So yeah, that's just me and what I think about the Beoplay HX. I would love to know what your thoughts are on the comment section down below. And guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, then please like, share and subscribe. This is Nafi signing off till next week. Peace!